Come on up here, girlfriend.
Woo!
Don't get shy. Not here. You're with my peeps. You're in a very safe, delicious space. It's settled. You should have water. So you guys might want to just come a little bit closer. We're going to make this a nice, intimate chat. And what I want to do for everybody is give you a moment of mom time. I want to give you a pause. So we're all here today. Thank you all for coming in. I know we're like crazy busy May, June with school and kids and all this kind of stuff. Everyone do yourselves a favor right now and just close your eyes. I'm going to just take a moment to settle into the space. Close your eyes and breathe. I'm going to do it too because I really need it. Deep breath. 3 deep breaths. And it just makes a world of difference. So now I'd like to formally welcome you to MomTime, the MomTime book party. I'm Cynthia Litman of MomTime Events for those I don't know. Hi, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. I produce a lot of local specialty art, entertainment, and musical and fun experiences, as well as professional development workshops, mainly for women, but also for families. I have a series of family movie events and other things that I do in partnership with different organizations in town. And one of the things that I love just so much is bringing people into a room, giving you a chance to connect with each other, have a little bit of refresher, renew your spirit, and have some fun. And I wouldn't literally be standing here not knowing what to do if it wasn't for Lyss. No, I'm serious. You deserve some credit here. Because Lyss, I always say she's like my big sister in this space. She founded Divalicious Moms in the city, and I remember being in Manhattan before I had kids, but still being on Madison Avenue buying baby presents for my friends who did have kids. And I would see postcards that said Diva Moms, different meetup events that you had for the well-heeled mom. And I was like, what is this? This is freaking brilliant. And when I finally had kids, I started to attend her events and I got to know her. But I think even before that, I heard through the grapevine about you when I started Mama's Pearls, which is my blog, back in 2009. And people were like, you have to meet Lyss. You just have to meet her. If you're a mom and you're a blogger and you're an influencer in this space, you have to meet Lyss. And then we did, and she came on to my Mama's Pearls radio show 6 years ago. I looked it up and I re-listened to it, and it's hilarious and it's awesome. And a lot of the seeds that we planted even 6 years ago then are themes that have manifested in Lyss's career as she has ballooned and blossomed and just turned into a mogul, literally. Literally. Don't underscore it. Stop. No, I'm the baby sister. I'm still a momtrepreneur. You've reached mogul status. I'm fine. I'm good. Reality check. It's all good. And I've watched her throughout this time. And you know, I take a lot of cues from her. And today I really wanted to present to you out here in Long Island a Diva Mom style event with a little mom time flair. Yeah, right? So this is my happy Mother's Day present to you, as well as a gift that you have given, returning the gift that you have given me over the years, which is your friendship, your support, and your guidance, and always just saying, honey, just go and do it. So it's a big testament to Lyss. So please, from my momtrepreneur mentor, big round of applause. I love you. And she's a crier. Last time she was out here for the Making Mom social event, she was pregnant and crying. Now that baby's 3 years old, she has 3 kids, and she's still crying. Okay, so take a breath. I really want you to receive that. I really want you to receive that because to me you really are a rare gem in the sea of people. And what's cool about the mom blog and influencer space is that it is a very tight-knit community of women who support each other and who have each other's back and want to boost each other forward. And it's been a beautiful privilege to be part of it in any small part along the way. So with that, I bid you welcome. Happy early Mother's Day. Happy early Mother's Day to everybody else. So you're at this point in your career where you have written your second book, and it's called Motherhood is a Bitch. 10 Steps to Regaining Your Sanity, Sexiness, and Inner Diva. What, because I can't imagine why anybody would call it that, was your inspiration behind the title and this book?
Okay. Well, before I get to that, I just want to say thank you so much for having this beautiful event today, and for hosting this beautiful store, and for being beautiful inside and out, and also a mentor to me. And I want everybody here in the room to say a happy Mother's Day to everybody. It's so beautiful to see so many beautiful moms in the room together and hear what Cynthia said is supporting other moms. And that's just really quickly why I started my business 13 years ago, was because I thought that it was important to have a community online and offline where mothers support each other, because what we go through each and every day is really hard. And I have a friend, she laughs at me all the time. I always say, every day is a new adventure. And until you're a mother, do you really understand what we're talking about? So which leads me into the book. And I hope that everybody that reads this book, and I hope that you spread it, the word of the book, virally on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, because we want every mom in the world, not just New York City and the country, reading this book, but I feel like every mom needs this book because we all need a little sanity in our life. So what inspired me to write the book? There are a few things. So which one do you want me to begin with? The quickest one, or which?
How much time you got?
How much time does everyone have? All right, really quickly. So I have a 13-year-old boy, I have a 9.5-year-old boy, and I have a 3-year-old daughter. After my third daughter was born, she was actually born on my 40th birthday, so she's the best gift ever. But she's also a surprise. I had the 2 boys, and that's what I thought I was going to have, and which I was great and grateful for. And then many years later, I got pregnant with my daughter. And Blake was a surprise, the best surprise ever, and an amazing gift, the best gift. So after that, though, where do I begin? I forgot about me. I was worried. I had a newborn, I had the 2 older kids, I had a business, I had my husband, I had a dog, I had a mother, my father had passed away. So there's just a lot going on. And I took on, I am sure, like so many women out there, we take on so much. And I really have a hard time of saying no. Well, not until I started writing the book, but we'll get to that in a minute. And I wasn't feeling well. I kept going to doctors. They kept doing different tests. They kept putting me on different medicines, antibiotics, and nothing was working. And they were going to send me out for another test. And I said, before I do this test, I'm going on a retreat by myself to the Berkshires for a few days. And when I come back, then we'll plan the test. Fast forward, I went to the Berkshires by myself. I got up to the hill, to the mountain, and that was like my rock bottom moment. I literally, first of all, it took me much longer than everybody else to get up there because I was so out of shape. And then I remember just sitting on the rock and saying to the person I was with, I need a moment. And I just started crying. And I feel like it was just I felt overwhelmed, I think, by everything. And I never ever took that minute or that pause to stop. And from that moment on, I remember saying to myself, I need to make changes, baby changes in my life. Because if I don't take care of myself, I can't be the best mom to my kids, both mentally and physically. And we always say, right, happy moms make happy life. Happy moms, happy kids. Well, if we're not feeling that way, how can we be that for everybody else? So that's kind of what inspired the journey of this book. And my children, as everybody knows, and I know everybody feels the same way, are our everything. They are our world. They are our lives. But motherhood is hard. And what we say in this book is we as mothers need to sometimes take a step back, take that pause, and breathe and live within the moment so that everything else doesn't just take over our lives. And so that's how the book came to be.
It's so hard to do, though. And there's so many things in the book that just hit home for me, and you do it in such a light, hysterical way. I mean, it's just the most real, raw, girlfriend to girlfriend guide, and you really cover the gamut of what your experience is as a mom. You're not just a mom, you're a person. You're not just a person, you're a career woman. You're not just a career woman, you're a wife. and you're a mother, and you're a PTA person, and you're involved in activities and have all these responsibilities. And the switch for me, and kind of watching you along on the way, because her thing has always been about being a diva, right? Her brand is Diva Moms, and getting that together. So when did you make this switch from diva to bitch?
Well, let's talk about the word diva. So the word diva moms, means, and from the beginning on, being the best mom that you could be from the inside out. Because nobody ever taps you on the back and says, you know what, honey, you're doing a great job, or you're a great mom. So the diva part is the queen. We want all moms, regardless of how you're feeling, to feel special, beautiful, again, from the inside out. Now, the bitch came to be, but let's talk about what the bitch means in the book. So we spell out the word bitch very differently than when people think of the term bitch. So I'm going to read that to you really quickly. Does everybody have a moment?
On Facebook, like content warning, language warning.
Okay, so when I say the word bitch, and that if all of you, so it's such a bad thing, it's so not a bad thing. And after you read this book, you're gonna be like, hell yeah, I'm a bitch. Okay, so B, letter B. Be the woman you want to be. Visualize her. The first step to get your bitchy mama metamorphosis is channeling the vibe. Get your head in the game, girlfriend. If you think I'm a doormat, you'll be a doormat. If you believe I'm queen of the world, you will rock a regal attitude in everything you do. Right? Okay. I, initiate. Saying you're going to change is nice, but useless. Kind of like the Snuggie you got for Christmas. You need to actually take some action, baby steps. One day at a time, lay out a list of how you're going to do things differently. For me, it's starting with getting my ass back to the gym, at least once a week. That was doable. Making just one small move in the right direction will take you on the right track. T, everybody, the time out. This is one of the most important rules of being a bitch. Give yourself a timeout when you need it. You'll learn later, and often, how. You should indulge and pamper your body and your soul, but for starters, take 10 minutes out of your day to simply breathe. Mommies don't have a timeout chair where they can go to de-stress and quiet their minds. I've been known to walk in my closet. When you need some downtime, take it. Don't apologize. Don't feel guilty. Park your kids in front of the TV and go in the room and stare at the ceiling for a few minutes. C is the care. Mommies are nurturers. We care about and for everyone in our lives. But what about for ourselves? I want you to care that your nail polish is chipped. Care that your scale says you gained 5 pounds in 1 week. Care that you haven't seen a movie and Finding Dory does not count. Okay? Do not sweep your needs under the rug because you're busy taking care of everyone else. We need to learn to make ourselves a priority too. And the H, help. Ask for it. Demand it. Hire it. You are not freaking Superwoman, able to leap monkey bars in a single bound while changing a diaper. For God's sakes, get yourself an extra pair of hands. And if you can't afford a sitter or a nanny, then ask your relatives and or your neighbors to pitch in. Divvy up the duties with Dad. Oh yes, he can do a load of laundry too, ladies. He can. And get over the whole I can do it myself crap. Because you can't. And you shouldn't. You don't have to. Bitchy moms know when to send out an SOS. And martyrdom is not as flattering for everyone.
Hell yeah. That's a slightly different definition and connotation than what you're used to hearing when people say bitch, right? Actually gives it a nice positive spin.
Yes.
And I think we can own that.
I think we can.
I think I might write the supplemental, like, I'm the asshole. Like, claim that as my moniker. But for now, we're going to go with being a bitch. And I think it's awesome. Because, when you lay that out for me, and especially when you get to T and the timeout, we always talk about that, the mommy timeout, and that was also the inspiration behind establishing MomTime as these moments, these couple of hours in your day to just take some time for yourself to connect with your community and to get to know people through that.
It's so important.
And also self-care. So important. But the one thing that stands out for me, and the big other B word that comes up, is boundaries. You were just throwing down boundaries. Yeah, my sister's looking at me like, get some of those. But you were throwing down boundaries on every single page of this book in every area of your life. And that's something I feel personally like you're constantly, in every interaction that you're doing in your life, kind of playing around those boundaries. You know, here it's like, how much can I take over London Jewelers for the day? Can we like take over the whole thing? No, we can't. We only have to be here. Okay, fine. But like, it comes in business, it comes in family, it comes with yourself, it comes with the kids, comes with the territory. So let's talk about some of the boundaries that you throw down in work, primarily, and with the other moms. I thought that was a great job.
So boundaries within work. I guess when you also run your own business and you're a mompreneur, or if you have a great job, no matter what you're doing, sometimes we need to set limits. And that means that I am not a doctor and I'm not on call. Meaning that at 3 o'clock in the morning, if somebody's emailing me or texting me, I remember when I first started my business, I would like literally keep the phone next to my bed and pick it up at 3 o'clock in the morning and respond to somebody. Those days are over. The phone doesn't even go next to my bed anymore. It goes somewhere else in my room. So that way I know that I can get a few peaceful hours. I'm not up unless I can't sleep, which is a lot of nights these days. But so I don't have that access to the phone. I don't have access to responding to somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I think we've all made ourselves so available to everybody that I taught myself to set boundaries. I also, I know I preach it, but I really try to, like, when I'm with the kids, to be present with the kids. Meaning that if I'm at the baseball game, don't get me wrong, of course I'm taking pictures, of course I'm cheering on my kids, but I'm not like standing there the whole time with my phone taking a video. I'll take a video, I'm not gonna deny that, but I'm not gonna be the whole time on my phone. Anyway, my point of the matter is, I just think it's important I've had to teach myself to like limit myself, especially with the social media that we have today, and to be present in the moment. So I think that's also something really important to do for moms everywhere.
Within your mom friends?
Yes.
What specific instances kind of came up that said I need to set limits?
Well, I think that in general, I think that, again, when I turned 40, I think that was like another aha moment when I really truly knew who my friends were and who my friends weren't. And I think that for a lot of us, getting rid of the negativity and the people that don't support us, I have to be honest, I don't have time for it and I don't want it in my life, and I don't think any of us have to. And we don't have to make excuses. If you're not kind and you're not a good person, there's no reason for us, we can nod to each other, that's fine, but like, we don't have to be friends, and I'm okay with that. I also think really quickly, when I started my business 13 years ago, there were several moms that laughed. They had, and the thing about me is everybody always comes back to tell me what everybody says about me. So, how's Lyss going to start her own business and all this other stuff? And I know who they are. And today, when I see them, I just smile. Because in the back of my mind, I know, and then I have friends such as you, such as Jody, such as some wonderful women in this room that supported me from the beginning. And you know what? I'd give you the shirt off my back. So if you're in my corner and you're a good person and you're a good friend, you're my good friends. And I think I always say to my 13-year-old son, it doesn't matter how many friends you have. It's important to have the quality of friends, and I truly believe that. And I think it took me a long time to realize that, but once you get there, you're there.
It's like rare diamonds. The really good friends and people in your life, and the ones who are there, they're like the diamonds in your life. Totally. She does say this one thing in the book, though, that cracked me up. Because this is something we can all relate to, when you have like that one friend that is always just ditching their kids on you. So like, take my kid, take my kid, take my kid, and like basically doesn't get to the point where they don't ask. I know we have some people like that. And then finally there's this point where she's throwing down the bitch mode and she's like, you're taking my kid today and I'm picking him up at 4. Yeah. So I read that and just was like, thank God, good for you, Lyss, leading the way.
I also think too, listen, I'm sure many of us would agree, I always like to say yes. Again, part of the people pleasing, and my friends, they can always have their friends over. Sometimes at any time, my friends are like, I could have 10 boys in my apartment, literally, pizza parties, and sometimes I don't even know what's going on. But to make a long story short, I learned now you have to reciprocate. You can always, of course, I'll take your kids, of course, but at the same time, if I need, you to take my kid, you're going to take my kid. And that's it. So it's not going to always, and I think so many of us probably go through that, right? Where we're always the ones doing the carpool, or we're the ones that are helping, you know, everybody else. But sometimes you just need to say, you know what? Today you're doing carpool, or tomorrow you're doing pickup, or, right?
Yeah.
So we all have to learn to set, like, to ask and to tell.
So, like the 4 C's of diamonds, one of the C's is clarity. So as a sister to boundaries, you have clarity. And in the book, I feel like you wrote this chapter, for me, it's called Get Your Shit Together. And it's all about tidying up and getting clear in your life. So making your home work better, it's just everything, getting organized. There's some shout outs there. And you're also drawing from tips from professionals, which I don't think a lot of people know about this book, that it's not just you to you, but you're drawing upon your community and your network to help you come forward with these amazing tips and pearls of wisdom for moms. Yeah. So as far as getting your shit together, what were like the top things that you noticed that where you didn't have it together?
Did you ever see the bottom of my pocketbook? I'm sure like many of us, right? If you look in that pocketbook, you'll see a sea of lots of things. So I think for me, it was starting with just cleaning out the clutter. Many of us, right, we collect. I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's important, of course, to have your child's first finger paint, right? The painting and the pictures and all that other good stuff. But what I learned from an organizer is to go through it. Pick out the things that you're really going to want to save and that you need, and put them in boxes and put them away in the closet. Really start organizing. I had to reorganize my whole kitchen, which is okay, but to get things more in order. And I know that people laugh and they're like, "What do you mean you do this?" Like on Sundays now, we go food shopping for the week. Of course, we always have to fill in throughout the week. But I organize my foods now for the week. So I always have, and I learned through my nutritionist friends in the book, to grab and go. So there's always something in my refrigerator, whether it's protein or cut up vegetables or fruit, but it's already there for me prepared, so I don't have excuses. Because, and you'll read in the book too, I was running on coffee, licorice, gummy bears, some Diet Coke thrown in there, and there is nothing healthy about that. So it was also about organizing my food, organizing my daily intake, and because listen, we organize everything for our kids, everything. But what about us?
Yeah, and in the book you do have a rundown and some quick tips and tricks and meal plans and different kind of things for moms on the go, which is from also your network of moms and nutritionists. And you also talk about how important it is during the care time to have your girlfriend time. So what is your favorite thing to do with your girls?
Have a bitch chini, and the recipe is in the book. And yes, it includes rosé wine, which is one of my favorite things. But honestly, one of my favorite things to do with my girls is either just to grab lunch, to go out for dinner. I personally love movies, so going to a movie and having a big thing of popcorn I will indulge in, with some chocolate as well mushed in there. But whether, going to a movie, just even picking up a phone and having a conversation. It's one thing to have, we all text each other and that's wonderful, but just picking up the phone to say hi is something really nice to do, and just to hear that other voice and communicate with that person on the other line.
Boundaries with your children who demand all of your time. And the one thing about being a mom is you're constantly putting yourself last. Even today, this text started coming in. I'm so sorry, my kid is sick. My kid is sick. I can't come. My kid is... And yeah, we're the first ones who will drop everything, drop all our plans and run home or run to school, pick up our kids, take them to the doctor. It affects moms' lives much more than it does the dads most of the time. I would say probably 99% of you in the room, that's the case. So the mom sacrifice that we do is something that always hits the trigger pulse of my mom's sanity. It's just like, I'm getting out the door and I have so many things, and then boom, I'm derailed. So, and Lee, if the school calls, just tell me. So how do you put the boundaries down with your kids?
Well, you'll have to read the book to find out. But just to give you an example, the other day I had a very important meeting, and my 9.5-year-old son called me from the nurse, and I picked up the phone, and the nurse says, it's a non-school emergency. I said, right, we all get, when you get the phone call from the school, like the first thing you think is, God forbid, it's something bad. I'm like, okay, great, so that's good. And then she says, your son's eye hurts. I said, what? She said, he's complaining that his eye hurts. I said, okay, can I talk to him on the phone? He gets on the phone, he goes, Mom? I said, yes. He goes, my eye hurts. I said, okay, so tell me what you think we should do. I don't know, maybe put some ice on it, but I thought you should know. You don't have to pick me up, but my eye hurts. So, it's kind of like, no, I don't want to, when I mean setting the boundaries, it's saying, unless you're really sick, right? Unless you're not feeling well, Mom or somebody will come get you. But your eye hurting, I think we're going to have to kind of skip on this one.
What about what happened when you were getting lasered?
Now that's a story. So, all right, really quickly. I decided also through writing the book, I was going to start taking better care of myself. So I don't know, has anyone ever done laser? Okay, I never did laser before, so it was my first time doing laser, and I decided the summer's coming up, and I'm gonna laser my legs, and I'm gonna laser my bikini, and I'm just gonna laser. So I got numbed up, and I'm lying there on the table, and all of a sudden my phone is ringing, and it's my son. Again, the same son. He's FaceTiming me, and he keeps FaceTiming me. So I pick up the phone, but like only from here up, so you can only, and I say, is everything okay? Mom, I don't feel well. I said, okay. I said, I know, but you're home, and my nanny was there with him. I said, everything's okay. Drink some ginger ale. I know, Mom, but I'm bored. I said, I know, but I'll be home in like a half hour. I'm just having something done. What are you doing, Mom? I said, I'm just, again, having something done. I'll see you in a half hour. And I hang up the phone. What do you think happens? He's FaceTiming me. He's FaceTiming. It's my own fault. I picked up the phone, and he says, Mom, I need you to go home. I don't know. And anyway, he started crying, and I'm like, you know what? I dropped the phone. I don't even know what happened. I just got off the table. I jumped off the table and I ran out. They were like, wait. I'm like, oh, right, I forgot. So, obviously, when our kid calls sometimes and they tell you, right, that you gotta come home, we gotta drop everything literally and go home.
I love that story. That's just so awesome. But I think that was before you made your transition into a bitch, because now you would have just been like, listen, I'll be home when I'm home.
Yeah.
So final area of boundaries I want to talk about. I mean, it's Mother's Day, but I want to talk about like how you lay it down with your husband. And in the book, you call something about like spreading the responsibilities around, and you call it chore play. And yes, there is nothing sexier, take a note, guy in the back, than a man who pitches in and does the dishes and does the laundry and takes care of the kids.
So anyway, it's so funny. Someone here was saying before the next book should be marriage is so we'll talk about that at another time, the follow-up book. But being married and having kids, it's hard. Just like everything else, and it takes work. And you need to, in order to make it work, you need to put the effort in as well. So, but besides that, I think it's important for us to lay the groundwork down early on with our husbands and say, you know what, you need to pitch in too, and you need to help, because I can't do this all alone. You can change the baby's diaper. You can make the child's lunch. You can take our kids to school. But if we don't ask, it'll never get done. So it's about having these conversations with them so that there's no resentment. Sometimes we find that there's so much, you hear resentment. He resents her, she resents him. And I think also having an open dialogue and open communication is really important in a marriage too. And to making that effort, and we write about it in the book, making a date night once a week, whether it's just going across the street to the diner, or to talk face to face, and maybe sometimes not even about the kids, just about you, how you're doing. Because I think so many times in a marriage with kids, it all becomes about the kids, and we forget about us, which is really important.
Yeah, I learned that very early on to delegate responsibility, but then I had to stop myself from getting mad about how my husband was doing things and just say, you know what, it's just good enough that he's stepping in and doing it. But part of my philosophy was always, you know, what if something happens to me or I get sick? Like, he needs to know what to do. He can't be asking me when I have a fever, like, what to do. Like, no. And aside from me not being there, it's also, he's 50-50 with me. These are his kids. I shouldn't have to ask him or ask his permission to take care of the kids. It's a joint job. Okay, so I love the book. Thank you for giving us this guide. And just about the books, everyone here will get a book. We didn't get all of them shipped today, so just make sure we have your name and your email addresses, and we'll email you for your physical address, and we will mail them to you, and Lyss will sign them all.
Yes, and
okay?
Also if you're here and I haven't signed your books, come up here so I can sign them for everybody.
No, we can do it up here. It's fine. We'll do it up here. We'll do the book signing up here. So before we wrap up the interview section, I want to do my Come Tell Mama, and I also want to just give a really big thank you and acknowledgement to London Jewelers, to 2 by London, to Jay Fine and Jordan, to Morgan, who's with us. You see the magical unicorns we're wearing. These are from Morgan, and she's just a magical unicorn in herself. And also to Jody and Lee for helping pull this all together. So thank you all for being here.
Oh, wait, you know what we should do?
Yeah.
Let's ask them questions. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh yeah, okay. Does anybody have any Q&A questions before we get into any questions for Lyss? Mom?
You know, it's great to listen to you to talk about the issues that go on as a mom, and how do you maintain and retain your personhood, because it doesn't change from generation to generation.
Yeah.
So, you know, the issues that I had to deal with, same issues.
Yeah, that's so right. It's and I say this with history too, right? Like, the reason why we don't learn from history and we repeat our mistakes is because every person in history is starting from their starting point. Even though the lineage of time goes on and your generational line goes on, you're still starting as a first time as a mom. So Mom, thank you for all you've done and for all the sacrifices you've made, and for putting the boundaries and teaching me what healthy boundaries are. So happy Mother's Day. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, any other questions?
Any other questions? Are there any questions on Facebook Live? Either now or later. Okay. So if you have any questions after seeing the video, you can just pop them in the comments and we'll hop on and do it. And we also have like a little bit of a shy group, so I'm sure afterwards I'll come up and like talk and ask
You can ask me anything.
Yeah, you can literally ask Lyss anything and she will answer it. Okay, so Come Tell Mama. These are, look, you got a question? Yeah, sure.
How do your kids
How do my kids what, honey?
how do they feel about the book?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? They love it.
They're so funny, especially again my middle one, who's the comedian. Mom wrote this book because of us, and actually he's now writing a book. It's called Ollie Pop Middle Child Syndrome, and it's really cute. I said, if he wants to publish it, I said, all right, keep writing, keep working on it, but anything can happen, right? It could be the next Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. But yeah, no, they know too. I mean, I obviously had to have conversations with them that the book was written out of its love, and it's just a lot of fun. And anything they read, or if anyone says anything snarky to them, or anyone says anything mean to them about the title of the book, to say that it's in fun and that they should read the book, because the book actually has a lot of heart and soul in it. So that. And they said, all right, go Mom. Now, is it a New York Times bestseller? I said, we're working on that. Okay.
Yeah, that's a great question. They shouldn't take it personally, right? It just is what it is. So just another note on the book, if you haven't pre-registered on RSVP and you walk in, just make sure we have your name and your email, and there are clipboards on the middle counter. Okay, so, and if you didn't get a gift bag, you're still welcome to take a gift bag over here. Okay, so, Come Tell Mama. These are legacy questions from the Mama's Pearls radio show. What is your luxury indulgence?
Okay, it's not a luxury indulgence, it's an indulgence, and everyone laughs at me, but I really do this every single night. I take a bubble bath.
Every night?
Every single night. Before I go to bed, but I do it. I light a scented candle. I put in, and I go to CVS. I buy like these lavender crystals that I just put in the bathtub. And you remember the commercial, Calgon Take Me Away? That's every single night. I make that time. There are nights I'm so tired that I can't even like think about it, but I'm like, you know what, you need to do this for yourself, because again, that's my MTO, mommy time out at the end of the day. I take that bubble bath.
That is extremely luxurious, because half the moms I know don't even get a shower. Val. Okay, so if you had to choose which one, not all, we could choose the best sex of your life, the best meal of your life, or the best sleep of your life?
All three.
Gotta pick one.
I can't.
One.
I can't.
What are you feeling?
I'm not talking about it.
I'm gonna say that's A. What is your favorite movie or theater genre?
Okay, so last night I had the best night ever. One of my favorite movies is Breakfast at Tiffany's. So last night, the Philharmonic had a performance with Breakfast at Tiffany's, and it just brought me to tears. It's still just one of my most favorite movies of all time. I love Holly lately. And I also love, I know it's so ridiculous, but I love Pretty Woman. I just love that film.
Solid choices. What do you consider your most beautiful feature?
My heart and my soul.
Amen, sister. And what is the best advice that your mama gave you?
The best advice that my mama once gave, she's given me a lot of advice over the years. But I will say, this is a good one. She taught me, it was probably like, okay. Make me up. I remember. Anyway, breathe. Okay. Life, I remember when my dad got sick.
I'm just going to take a moment, because this is the first time, at least in your books, that you really go into talking about your dad. And let's just take a moment to honor your dad right now. Little angel looking over you. I love you.
I remember he got sick, and I was 16, and he was given 6 months to live, esophageal cancer. And I remember coming home, and I said, it's not fair. And I remember her saying, life isn't fair. And you know what? I think that was a really good lesson, because there's no explanation for a lot of things that happen. And I think, though, at that time, being 16 and hearing that, like, life isn't, what do you mean it's not? Like, and I think understanding that was just something great that she said, and it stuck with me forever, because you know what, in life it's not fair. So anyway, but it's all good. So with that being said, happy Mother's Day to everybody. And I think, again, at the end of the day, like, a really good lesson though she did teach me though once was, when you're driving in the car and you get to the light, and you get to the red light, there's going to be a Maserati on the right, and there's going to be, I don't know, whatever car on the left. Don't worry about what's in the right, don't worry what's in the left. It's like today with social media, right? You get so caught up with like whatever. Just go straight. Worry about what's in what's in your future. And I think that was also a really great life lesson. So everybody, happy Mother's Day.
That's a great girl. That's a great girl. And thank you. Thank you for trusting me to host your first Long Island book appearance, and to talk and to dive in and go deep. Motherhood is like those rare diamonds, and each of you here today is one of those rare gems. My blog is called Mama's Pearls for a reason. It's passing down the wisdom, passing down the memories, passing down the love. And diamonds are imperfect. even the most perfect ones are still imperfect. They're still flawed. The clarity, the cut, you're always sacrificing something. And moms always wind up sacrificing something in their lives. So for all of you, and all the mamas in the room, and the grandmas, and the mamas before us, in our lineage of mothers, heralding from way back when. Just want to take a toast, if everyone wants to grab some Prosecco, and a toast to you for a very, very happy Mother's Day. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, wait. And one more pearl about this book is that I hate the word perfect. It just bothers me. I don't even know why. And so when people talk about perfect parents or perfect mothers or I wish that word would go away, because we're all doing the best that we can, and I give each and every one of us the biggest high five, because we're doing it our own way. And I think that's so important. Motherhood is messy, motherhood is real, motherhood, there's no book for this, there's no guide for this, and I think that we're all figuring it out our own ways. And that's what I love best about motherhood and our community of mothers.
I mean, that's so exactly right on. And I think the perfect note to leave everybody is that it's never going to be perfect. And we're all kind of hot messes. And it's all okay. Because motherhood is a bitch. Yay! Love you guys. Thank you.